GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand, presents Galata Plus at the Berlin Film Festival 2024.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Hello and welcome to Galata Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about P.S. Vinod Raj's follow-up to Pebbles. The new film is called Kottukali and it is an excellent road movie like the earlier one, and it world premiered at the Forum section of the Berlinale. To the extent that one can determine a signature shot from a filmmaker who is just 2 films old, P.S. Vinod Raj's second feature, Kottukali, opens with his signature shot. It is a 6-minute single take. We see a middle-aged woman walk from her house to a nearby shrine and walk back home to her zombie-like daughter, Meena, played by Anna Ben. It is daybreak. We see the blush of pink in the skies. It seems to be a village, but some of the fancier homes suggest that maybe it's a small town. The fully clothed woman, she has poured water on herself and she has given the visit to the shrine. It appears to be some kind of sanctification. Cinematographer Shaktivel captures this woman almost entirely as a silhouette, but when the occasional flashes of light fall on her face and when we hear her feeble whimpers, we realize that this woman may be in some kind of suffering. Who is this middle-aged woman? What is her pain? Why did she go to the shrine? Like in his first feature, Kurangal or Pebbles, Vinod Raj makes us wait for the answer. He makes us wait almost an hour into this 1 hour 40-minute narrative for the exact answer. I was glad I watched an early cut of this very powerful film. This has a final shot that rivals that of the 400 Blows as one of the greatest non-endings of cinema. And why was I glad that I watched that? Because the program notes at the Berlinale tell us all about the premise, and that defeats the purpose of Vinod Raj's cinema. Because his cinema is a cinema of discovery. In the usual films, the story and the accompanying events, they are so sprawling that a review or a program note can afford to give away a few plot points. In a horror movie, we'd say a girl is possessed by a ghost, and that would not spoil our experience of the film, of watching the film one bit. But Vinod Raj works with the barest whisper of a plot, and to give it away is to kill our experience of the journey he takes us on. Like Pebbles, Kottukali, translated as The Adamant Girl here, falls broadly under the genre of road movie in the sense that its characters start in one place and they travel to another. But in spirit, we are on a journey. So here is the germ of the story. Meena was meant to get married to Pandi, that's played by Suri, but something happened. Something about caste, something about superstition, something about tradition, something that tells us that women can be as patriarchal as men. In the present, the story begins as the journey begins, and the two families, that is Meena's family and Pandi's family, face a series of obstacles along the way. They have to keep stopping along the way, and these delays give us a sense of both the interpersonal relationships between these people as well as their relationship to the culture of this region in southern Tamil Nadu. Along the way, there is also a mini arc of the cycle of life, from the funeral pyre in the background to a young girl's coming of age ceremony. Now, in this ceremony, the Thai Maman or the maternal uncle plays a part, and this relationship finds an echo in the Meena Pandi situation. Road movies are about events, and we do get events in Kottukali. It is just that these events aren't always dramatic. They are sometimes geographical, like the revelation that a stretch of land along the way was barren. But now, development has taken over and the stretch of land is filled with houses. A man laments that his brother prevented him from buying a plot in the stretch of land back then, probably because the brother did not want to see him prosper. A small passage like this, it's an aside really, adds nothing to the main story, and it also means everything. It's the milieu, the way people talk about each other, what they mean to each other. Even the way Pandi's sisters talk to one another and to everyone else, even this way they talk tells us so much about this place and these people. At one point, we learn about a character who's renounced the world. At another point, we see men relieving themselves, the streams of urine splattering on plastic bags and withered leaves. No detail is insignificant. And the questions keep coming. Who gave Meena the ring she wears? How did Meena get a scar on her throat? Why does Meena seem to see herself as a literal other person, as though a happier mirror image of her has been placed in front of her eyes? One of the few times we see Meena in a non-zombie state is when her lips move in silent prayer. But who or what is this prayer for? Why does Pandi's face fall for an instant when Meena catches him staring at her? When Meena lip syncs the lyrics of a love song, why does that become such a major issue? A little boy, Pandi's nephew, seems to be the only one shedding a tear for Meena, but when he grows up, will he become a misogynist like the others? After all, his mother does point out that he is like his father, though for a very different and a very funny reason. The minor issues I had in Kotukali had to do with an overemphasis we did not see in Pebbles. Sometimes it is in the visuals, like the ones where we see Meena in the same frame with a rooster tied to a small rock. It's the kind of symbolism that belongs in a lesser movie. A similar visual involving a bull takes a shot at masculine posturing, but again it's a little too obvious. But the bigger problem is in the dialogues. Vinod Raj's first film was a largely silent affair. Here he handles many characters, and some of the exchanges between these characters, they spoon feed the audience a tad too much. For instance, there is a scene where we are told that one of Pandi's sisters is having her period. This telling, or at least the pointed way this conversation is constructed, is unnecessary because later we see this woman in a wordless scene with a sanitary pad. As a result, the supporting actors are largely effective but do not rise beyond a certain level. But Suri and Anna Ben, they are magnificent. We need to give Vetrimaran a shout out at this point for showcasing Suri as an actor, and for the first time you see that he is actually a good looking man. Earlier, because all he did was make faces and make funny faces at that, I probably never paid much attention to his looks. But a lot of his performance here, like Anna's performance, it's very minimal, it's very internalized. The faces resemble a series of still photographs, and we register Suri as we never have before. At first, Pandey and Meena just exchange looks, and we are asked to project whatever we think onto these faces. And when Suri has this big explosion, it's as though the pent-up tension in the narrative itself is being released, and finally, we are at the crux of the matter. Vinod Raj hints that Pandey is possibly a decent man, but he's still a man. And in these parts, that comes with having to behave a certain way, the way men who came before you have behaved towards women and towards everyone else. After this outburst, after Suri's outburst, we see a stream nearby going about its activity, going about its business of carrying water. Nature doesn't give a damn. Anna Ben has the more difficult part because the emotional violence she has experienced has made her crawl into herself and shut herself up like a tomb. Again, with just a series of looks, an entire performance emerges. She has just one line in the whole film, but we feel her defiance, her determination in every frame she is in. The final stretch is dazzling. The group finally reaches their destination, and we see other girls like Meena from all classes. Meena came by auto, another girl comes by car. And after trailing people or capturing them from the front, the camera assumes a point of view perspective. We see someone seeing things as they really are, and we sense the confusion. Do you do the dumb thing or do you do the right thing? This is messaging of the highest quality, done without a word and entirely through visuals. Simply put, Vinod Raj's second film is another standout. And that's it about Kotukali from the Berlinale. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galata Plus and see you soon at the movies.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.